Hi everybody, this is Gijs again with another review and I hope you are doing well. This time it's a review about a stove. It is about the Optimus Gemini. And I know, I promised this review already a couple of months ago, so why am I so late? Well, simply because I have got some very serious issues with this stove. Does this draw your attention? Then sit back, relax and enjoy the video. And welcome back to the review on the Optimus Gemini. Now, if this is the first time that you tuned into my channel, then it's polite to introduce myself. My name is Gijs, I am a Dutch outdoor gear reviewer. Sometimes I do trekking bikes as well, electric bikes, and also gadgets like DJI drones or the DJI Pocket 2, for example, that I use in a lot of videos. What is convenient for you to know is that in the description below I have got a lot of links on the products that you might see in this video. For example, the rooftop tent that's on top of my car, the 10TP Sapphire 2CP tent that's over there, and also a lot of other stuff like, for example, my pants. Now, what is important for you to know is that I do my work totally independent, so manufacturers are not paying me for my reviews. If you like what I do at the end of this video, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because with more followers, subscriptions, well, that makes my work really worthwhile. Now, let me also tell you a little bit about the area that I'm in, and I'll put some drone shots on it. The area that I'm in, it's a very nice farm field. There's also some nature reserve, there's cornfields around me, but this is the most quiet place that I could find in the neighborhood, because holiday time is starting at the moment. And there is a river, the river Maas, on my back basically. Sometimes you might hear a boat going fast, rapidly by, but this is absolutely a cool place, and I got the permission of 2 farmers to do my shooting here, which I'm absolutely grateful for. Now let's start with the review on the Optimus Gemini twin burner stove. When I got it, it's on the market already for, let's say, about a year by now. When I got it, that was in February somewhere this year, I started testing, of course. And the first thing that I always do is, when it's new, I take it out of its package and then I start measuring the packed size and also the weight. Now, I measured a packed size with everything folded together of 303 millimeters by 71 millimeters by 105 millimeters. And I measured a weight on my precise calibrated scale of 89.7 grams. The pouch, yes, it comes with a very nice pouch. I measured that one at 32.7 grams. Now, the size, the pack size that I measured and the weight, it is almost spot on with the sizing that and the weight that Optimus states on their website. So in that way, it is absolutely super. What I cannot measure is, of course, the power output of the burner heads. Optimus claims 3,400 watts or 11,600 BTU per burner. So that's something that you should know. And one thing that they also claim is that it should boil 1 liter of water in 4 minutes. Now, I can't measure the power output basically, but what I can measure is, of course, does it really boil 1 liter of water in 4 minutes? Now, this is something that I did in my shed extensively, but more on that later. First, let me start talking a little bit about the stove and the materials. And let me take the pot away, because then you can have a little bit of a better visibility on the stove itself. The stove itself, it is made out of mainly stainless steel. The body, this part, it is stainless steel. The burner heads are stainless steel. This large U-shaped pot support is stainless steel, and also the foldable pot supports, because this is the neat trick about this stove, that it folds very nicely together. Now, the thing is also important is that the hose, the gas hose that is connected to the canister, that one is also, of course, stainless steel with, of course, rubber inside it, because otherwise gas will flow everywhere. Now, in the middle of the stove body, you will see that there are 2 handles, 2 levers, and this is how you adjust basically the flame, or that's how you control the flame. And this is basically where everything starts going a little bit wrong, to my opinion. Because I am a true believer of not reading manuals, because when a product is well engineered, it should be foolproof and you don't need to read the manual. Now, in the case of the Optimus Gemini, it is totally different, and I discovered this just by doing. Because what I did when I got the stove, and I'll show you this, it is packed very neatly, like this. And then of course in the pouch. Now I like this because it is for a twin burner stove. It is a very compact system. Most of them, there are those tabletop thingies, which I don't like. This will fit in a backpack. So if you are a family and you are going on a backpacking trip, this is absolutely totally clever. Unfolding it, you know, what I do like is that the legs, they click very firmly into the notches. So it is also hold firm together in the pouch. Now when you unfold it, it's just a matter of opening those two, and this is what you do. Now in my life, with every stove that I own, what I do next is I take the gas hose and I connect it to the gas canister. Now in the case of the Gemini, this is not what you should do. It's absolutely dangerous. Because when we look at the regulators that are in front, those two, they are at this moment locked behind those notches. And it looks absolutely smart. But in this way, in this transport position, the valves that are in here are actually not closed. So when I connect the gas canister, then the gas will start flowing to the burner heads, which is, in my opinion, a design flaw. Because what I would like to have is that when I close these two, like so, and I'll show you this on the other one as well, like so, now they are fully closed, now no gas will flow. Then I can fold them basically back in this way, behind notches. Now in this case it will not work because the notches are on a different position. Now of course I talked to Optimus about this, and they explained to me that they do this to relax basically the rubber seal that is in the burner. First time ever in my life, because all the other stoves that I have, when you close it, the seal is closed, nothing happens. So you will really have to think about this. Also now when you are removing the gas canister, you have to think in the opposite way, because what you do, you close the valves completely, then you take off the gas canister, and now you have to basically go backwards so it fits nice and neatly behind those notches. Why? I don't get this, because in this way it is not absolutely foolproof. You can make mistakes. One thing that I also noticed, what I don't like, is that when you fold it together again, yes, the pot supports, they click in very, very nicely 4 times. But now the gas hose, look how it is manufactured. Yes, nice stainless steel, but it is connected with a sort of rigid construction. And when you fold this backwards into the housing basically, because that's where it should be, there is a lot of stress on this part. I always would have made this one with a 90-degree angle, or maybe with even a turning mechanism in it, so that it does not stress basically the gas hose this much, because this is not for the long-term longevity of a stove. Now this little thingy with the regulators being open or closed, it should of course be mentioned in the manual. Now the Optimus Gemini comes with a decent manual, or decent, no, not really, because the funny thing is it does tell me a couple of warnings. Keep solid combustibles at least 1 meter and 25 centimeters away from the top and 1 meter from the sides of a burning stove. The other one, even more funny, keep flammable liquids and vapors at least 8 meters away from the top and the sides of a burning stove, or a stove that you are in the process of lighting. What it does not tell me is that I should put this in the right order. It does not. So what did they do? They made a yellow sticker And this yellow sticker, yes, it's on a cardboard box now, it is on the gas hose when you buy it. And it reads, A, transport position only, gas flow regulators are not fully closed, do not attach a gas cylinder. And then there is of course a B, which is the use position. The bad thing is that this yellow sticker, it was put on as a sort of safety catch for the manual that does not state this process. And the bad thing about this sticker is that when you take it off or when you hold it, the letters, they rub off. And yes, I told also Optimus about this, and they do a new one now, a reprint with a print that will stick so that you can read it again and again and again, that you can leave attached to the hose. So that are already, I think, 3 flaws that I discovered. Now I put the stove, the canister is connected again, those are in the correct position to lighten the stove. What am I missing? I am missing a piezo. Because when I buy a stove like this, I expect there to be a piezo lighting so that it is simple and easy. What I need to do now is I need to use, or something like this, a lighter, or I need to do this with matches, which is not very handy when there's a lot of wind, like for example at the moment, or, and this is the one that I had at home, it is a separate piezo, in this case from Primus, but Optimus will sell you also a separate piezo. So to my opinion, this stove should have a piezo ignition. So that is design flaw number 4. Now in this case, because it is quite windy, I'm not going to use the piezo, I'm not going to use the matches, but I'm going to use this power lighter to light the stove, just for demonstration. You won't see anything because, well, the sun is out here. But listen to my microphone when you hear the gas flow. Now that was a turn of 545 degrees. And now I can light it. And now I can turn it in total to 720 degrees in total. But the funny thing is that after lighting, it reaches its maximum power output in a twist of 108 degrees. So to my opinion, the gas regulation, there is a lot of turning necessary, which in my outdoor life is not that convenient, because when I need to boil water, I put it on full blast and I wanted to have it in a very quick twist, or when I want to simmer food, I want to have this little nice balance in a little bit more, well, let's say 360 degrees area, and not from getting the gas flow to full max in 180 degrees. So that's what I don't really like about this stove either. Now let's continue with the thing that I can check, and that was the boiling time that Optimus states for this stove. And I did this at home in my shed with, of course, the Optimus Terra Express pot, but I also did it with a normal pot. Because what the beauty is about the Terra Express pot is that there is this flux ring underneath it. Maybe flux is the official name of Primus, I'm not totally sure about this. But this is a heat exchanger, and this heat exchanger basically makes the heat that is generated by the burner head itself go faster and more efficient into the pot. Now, what did I measure? In my shed I did 6 runs with this one and 6 runs with that one. And what I discovered is that with the heat exchanger, the Terra Express pot, it takes 3 minutes and 29 seconds and 11.4 grams of gas to get 1 liter of water boiling. And the good thing is that when I was testing, 1 liter of water boils with 100 degrees at 1013 millibars. That the pressure in my shed at the moment that I was testing was 1015 millibars, so it was not that far off. So with the Terra Express pot it took 3 minutes and 29 seconds and 11.4 grams of gas, but with the normal regular pot it takes 4 minutes and 41 seconds and 14 3.5 grams of gas. So with this one, it is even faster than what Optimus claims. And with this one it is slower. So it's a bit depending on what set you are going to buy together with the stove. Now I also did some multiple testing on the right burner head and on the left burner head and vice versa, but they perform absolutely the same. So when Optimus claims that the burner heads do 3,400 watts or 11,600 BTUs, well, I think I have to believe them on this. Now this was the testing in my shed. But in my shed I also discovered something else, which I consider not as an issue, but as a safety hazard basically of the Optimus Gemini stove. Because how I tested it, like so, this is how I have been using the Optimus stove for the last couple of months. Putting the stove down, connecting the gas canister and putting it next basically to the stove itself. Now what you see is that the gas canister in this position, it's quite low and it is away basically from the heat source itself. And Optimus makes also these small canisters. Well, in this case of course the gas hose will be even lower. But what Optimus also does is this canister, and this one it is higher. Now let me demonstrate what happens. Put that one down there, put that one down there. Turn it on, turn it on. Now you see that the gas hose is quite high. So what happened in my shed when I was testing with a medium-sized canister that I put on a scale to measure the gas consumption. Now the height of that medium gas canister on the scale is almost the same height as the large canister. Now the heat, I turned it of course to full blast because I wanted to measure the minimum boiling time. Now the flames that were licking around the bottom of the regular pot. And what happened is that because I did this multiple times, the interior of that gas hose, the rubber, it melted simply because it was too close to the bottom of the pot and the flames licking around it. And yes, to be totally honest, this was a pretty scary moment for me. You also noticed how I took away basically the gas source, because I can close these, but since it is the gas hose that was ruptured, the gas still kept flowing from the canister to the burner head and it was leaking from the gas hose itself. And this is the biggest safety flaw that I ever saw, because if you make a connector onto a gas canister, then there should be a turning device on this. And now I will show you some of my other stoves. So follow me, because now you see why I have got the tent in the car over there. Because this stove, it is the Primus Power, and this is the one that I've been using already for years. Handle, I did a review on this one as well. But you see, there is the regulator, and this closes the gas flow to basically the hose. So no harm here. Now follow me to my car. And maybe good for you to know as well that I did a review on that rooftop tent. And I will also be doing a review on the Dometic fridge, but we don't need that one now. Now let me show you my other setups. This is also a Primus one. Look, there is the regulator on top of the canister. This is a new Soto burner. Yes, the regulator on top of the canister. And this one, if you follow me, you might have seen this one already many times, the jet boil. The regulator below the burner head, but when you close this one, the gas flow is totally killed. So that is what Optimus should do with the Gemini. Now you see my stoves, they all have got this regulator valve on top of the gas canister, and that is how I think also the Optimus Gemini should be. Now if you are planning to buy this stove and planning to use it with a big canister, because with the smaller canisters I don't think there is any safety hazard going on. But with the big one, then what I strongly would advise you is use a big table, bigger than the ones that I've been using, or put it just on the floor. And when you do this, and now I will have to twist it to show you, then you should place it basically as far as possible at a 90-degree angle from the middle of the stoves, because in this way the less heat is being generated in the direction basically of the gas hose itself, and then you should be fine. Now let's turn the stove back into a more viewer-friendly position so that you can still have a good look onto the stove itself. Now I discussed this of course with Optimus and also how the fire happened. And they came with a very good answer. The fact that the gas hose collapsed, it is possible with all metal rubbery gas hoses if they are too close to a fire. And yes, I do agree on this. They agree with me that it would maybe be very smart to put a regulator on top of the gas canister so that the gas flow into the hose is regulated just in case. And this is something that we are going to work on. They asked for my advice as well. So this is something they are open to criticism. I've got some good answers for them why things are the way they are. So I think we're good in this way. Now that said, now it's time to head on to my verdict. How do I rate the Optimus Gemini? Well, I think it is very, very clear. Yes, it is compact, it is nice and foldable, it is lightweight, and I think that the burning time, especially with the Terra Express pod, it's one of the fastest stoves that I have ever tested. And the fact that you have two, if you are with more people, this is really a convenient stove. The fact that the gas regulators on the stove body itself, I think they are a hassle and not very user friendly. Next to that, I miss a piezo with this set. It should be there because that makes it so much more user friendly. Now, next to the design flaws that I already spoke, I'm happy with the openness that Optimus has given me and onto all their answers. Now, there is one final thing that I should mention, and that is the price. The Optimus Gemini retails for €194.95, and I think that is an awful lot of money for a stove with flaws and no piezo. And therefore I rate it at only 5 points out of 10 total. And again, be aware, please be careful when using a high canister. Put it away from the stove as far as possible, or use the smaller ones just because of the safety issue. Now, you might think that I have got a grudge against Optimus. That is absolutely not the case, because let me put this one aside, because this one, you didn't see me change this. This is the Optimus Crux, and this is a little stove, one burner. And I'm having it already for I think about 10 years. It is foldable, like so, and in this way it is one of the most compact burners out there, and this one I really, really love. Just to finish on a positive note. Now, I really hope you liked this video, and if you did, then please give it a like, or maybe two. No, that wouldn't work. Give it a like, and please leave a comment below what you thought of this video. Also, if you've got any questions, suggestions or remarks, please use the comment section, because that's what it's for, and I'm more than happy to answer everything that you can throw at me. If you really like this video, then please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, because with more followers, well, simply it makes my work really worthwhile, and thank you so much in advance if you do. Now, this was what I wanted to tell you about the Optimus Gemini and about myself. Enjoy the outdoors and stay safe. Ciao, ciao! And what I did not tell you and what I did not show you is that this was a hassle to shoot this video. It's taken me so many times. This is, I think, the third time that I'm trying to shoot this one. Because of wind. Today started totally blue sky. Then clouds, sky, clouds, clouds, sky, dark, light. Absolutely horrendous. So what I'm going to do now is just get rid of all this stuff and just enjoy the car or maybe the 10TP tent and just have a very relaxed afternoon with a really nice beverage that is being cooled in my Dometic fridge. Review on that one later. Bye!